What's up, everybody? Welcome in. It's your Thursday's edition of Money Shots. We have myself, the beautiful KIV, and special guest Rico Bosco, who is kind of fighting for his life, man. He's got the whole Alabama basketball team on his back, and essentially if it's a boom or bust. So I'm hoping they're cutting down the nets at the end of the season for my friend Rico. Maybe not for my futures because I do not have Alabama even making it to the Final Four. But what do I know? Kelly, how are we feeling? I haven't seen you for a while.
I know.
Dominic loves that you got parlays back.
Yeah. So, listen, college basketball, unfortunately, always has to take a second fiddle to football, right? College football, NFL. Once NFL is done, I did start college basketball significantly earlier than I normally do, just because the bowl season was horrific for me this year, unlike last year, just kind of one of those things. But now I'm really enthralled with college basketball, right? Like I took that second half of December all the way through Super Bowl to really play catch up, for lack of better words. Like I truly do believe that you cannot know everything, right? I can't do college football, NFL, college basketball, NBA, and really truly not only for a disservice for myself, but anybody that follows my picks. And so I got with Jack, our producer, who does all the exclusives and stuff. And I'm like, hey, I've got a parlay for today. It's up at the Barstool Sportsbook. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. But yeah, that's kind of a reason why I really hadn't previously, except for Saturday, had one. Unfortunately, didn't get there. Oklahoma State got blown out. Megan, we were talking about that before we went on air. It was gross. But I'd rather just have a blowout than them covering all game, winning all game, and then losing by the dagger at the end. I mean, God, I think it was Aria tweeted this morning that he had New Mexico, and they just daggered a three at the buzzer. And I'm like, lost my breath for Boise State bettors. Like, how gross. So I know it sounds weird. I'd prefer a rocking chair winner than a sweaty winner, and I prefer a rocking chair loser too.
Yeah, well, my parlays have been just about the same. Xavier the other night. Or it was Xavier the week before. I had two rocking chair winners. And yesterday, I had two money lines that barely got through. And then Providence, of course, decides to get – they're hanging in there. They're hanging in there. And then all of a sudden, they blow three tires and they fucking they ended up just dwindling down to nothing last night. But it's okay. We got a lot more basketball, and the quality of the basketball is getting better, which I'm excited about as we head into March. Rico, how are we feeling?
Good. 0-3 last night. Tough. Yeah, tough.
Tough night. I'm 1-2 myself. So.
Colgate got halfway there. Couldn't get over 8, I believe their line was, or 7.5, whatever they were laying. Alabama, I took it, obviously, was watching with that number, how to get behind my boys. But and Iowa, I've never seen a performance like Iowa last night. That was wild. Like 2 of 40 from 3 or whatever the hell they were.
It's
unbelievable when you go to Wisconsin, and it's just so wild to watch. That ball hits the rim, it sounds like a bomb's going off. I know they mic the rims, but I don't know if they just turn it down a little bit. It's so loud, and they were missing everything. Chris Murray couldn't get going. They held.
It gets even louder when you're missing them. When you're hitting them, those things sound like a sweet violin in your ear. But whenever you're missing them, it's like just chunk.
Everything's so interchangeable in the Big Ten. Like, it's just crazy.
The Big Ten is so infuriating. It's just I feel like that and the SEC go hand in hand. But
it's so funny because this is what kind of goes back to what I was just saying, Megan. Everybody's kind of got their niche. The Big Ten has been so good to me. So good to me.
I'm glad it's been good that you've had a good read, because we need to talk about this Penn State-Ohio State game coming up.
Hey, but you know what's been bad for me? The SEC has just been they're at a couple of good reads with Georgia, just because I get some good insight from a good friend of mine within the organization. But outside of that, look at Florida last night, and I did attempt to reverse jinx it, but I was like, fuck this. I put my phone down. I'm like, I'm going to enjoy my steak in peace. Like, I'm normally the obnoxious person at the restaurant, either watching the TV, sitting at the bar, or with my phone. And I was like, I'm done. I'm going to enjoy my dinner. I deserve better than this. And of course, I get back to Twitter, and they did make a run, and they made it a close game. It's just it's just not a very good conference top to bottom, right? Like the Big 12, any given night, someone can beat the other team. Right now, you've got 3, maybe 4 teams in the SEC.
Maybe.
Well, the other thing, too, and listen, I think Buzz is a good coach. I like him, obviously, but it should tell you something that Texas A&M is ranked, whatever they are in the conference, 13-2 or whatever that is, and they're a 10 seed. Now they're probably moving up a little bit here and there, but like when the third best team or the second best team in your conference, third best team in your conference is a 10, that's not how it should be. Like Power 5 should be. That's what makes me worry about the Big Ten. Like there's not a lot of high seed lines with those guys.
I could see
Big East has beat itself up and is getting disrespected a little bit because they're in the same mix of those three. Like they're all 3, 4, 5 seeds, but there's a bunch of them, 5, 6 of them. The SEC is top heavy. The Big 12 is, they're really the only
one. How many Big 12 teams do you think you're going to get in, Rico? 8?
Well, yeah. Well, it's off the top of it. Kansas, Baylor, Kansas State, Iowa State,
Texas,
TCU.
Texas, no brainers. TCU, no brainer is 6.
Tech is on the bubble,
and West Virginia's on the bubble, helping themselves out. West Virginia's on the bubble. So if we got 6 no brainers, is there another team we're missing?
I mean, I don't think Oklahoma's going in anywhere.
No, I don't think either Oklahoma teams are getting in.
I think Oklahoma's the only one that has.
Which weirdly, I feel like if Oklahoma State made it in over Oklahoma, they could make a deeper run than Oklahoma, just because I feel like Oklahoma has just gotten extremely lucky where they have played just lights out perfect games.
That's the only way they can win.
Right, but Okie State has just
they have to shoot lights out from 3 to win basketball games.
Yeah, and Okie State's just been this like dependable, I wouldn't say cash cow as of lately, but someone in the comments said Texas A&M can make a deep run. I kind of agree with that. They've been kind of a buzzsaw lately, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. I mean, I would say Sweet 16, maybe a little deeper. But I kind of like that. That's, as an SEC girl, I think right now, I mean, as much as I love Bruce Pearl and as much as, I'm rooting for Rico's Alabama, I think right now Texas A&M might be my favorite SEC team, which is saying a lot. I'll put Arkansas too, just because of Musselman. I think he's a great coach. And
you do kind of have to wonder. So what do we have? Like 11 days left of the regular season, something like that. I think March 4th is the last days for pretty much every school, but you kind of have to wonder, right? And this is a quintessential talking point, but I'm curious, are certain teams peaking at the right time? And I kind of had to wonder that about Kentucky last night. Granted, I switched the game off because I'm the kid that takes their Xbox and goes home when I'm losing and I hate it. But in full disclosure, Kentucky's finally starting to string together some successful wins here. You kind of see A&M doing the same thing. You kind of see a couple other schools, Marquette, UConn last night, really impressive win over Providence. Do you buy into any of that, Rico, where, all right, cool, we're 10 days left of the regular season. We've got conference championships coming up, but are there certain teams that right now are playing amazing basketball and you're wanting to bet on?
There definitely is teams like that with upside. Real quick on Calipari, like I don't like him. I think he's a bad coach. X's and O's wise. I do. I think he's a bad coach. But you got to call a spade here. He's a terrific motivator, and the time is coming where he's going to get him in a room and be like, Oscar, whatever. I don't, Joe, Bill, fucking Steve, whoever the fuck's on that team, because I don't really pay attention to him, I'll be honest. They haven't been magnificent, but he's going to be like, you want to improve your draft stock? There's going to be 47 scouts, even though there's 32 NBA teams at the fucking SEC tournament. Somehow they're doubling up. They're going in pairs. They're getting the double queens over there in the fucking rooms. There's going to be 47 scouts at the SEC tournament. When we go play in the NCAA tournament, there's going to be 67 scouts. Like, this is the time to make it run. I think he does that and motivates guys in their own future. I also think he gets a favorable seeding round. Like Wichita, when Wichita was the 1 seed, that wasn't fair. To get Kentucky like that and try to get Wichita out, it is what it is. But you talk about peaking, I think you can get a lot of these teams on these runs of 4 or 5 or 5 out of 6 before the conference tournament and then run through the conference tournament. The one that stands out, I'm sure there's been others. The big one that stands out to me was Oregon a couple of years ago when they got through to a 12 seed and just demoralized people.
Because they should have never been a 12 seed, though.
Fair enough. But all I'm saying is, like, if you caught, and again, you can't catch everybody and it's gambling, but it's like, if the best place to catch them is 0 games in, if just for whatever reason, but with that, you might as well play the lottery. The best time to get them is 1 game in or 2 games in. I guess what I'm trying to say is trust your gut if you are watching it, where imagine if you had Oregon on that after game 1 or game 2, it'd be like, telling you, these are the guys. Even Carolina last year. before, like through the ACC tournament, and then hey, they're an 8 seed. Like, if you like what you're seeing, don't be afraid to go out on a limb and pick a team that is playing well before the conference tournament, and then they're plus 700, plus 800 in these conference tournaments, because 4 games in 4 days with a team who's playing hot, like that's really all there is. There's no game plan that day.
When you're hot, you're hot.
They can barely do a shoot around. It's basically just stay off your legs. It's a walkthrough in a hotel ballroom. You're not watching film. Like, think about it. What are you doing?
Some of these conference championships, Rico, are interesting too, because they matter to certain teams and not to others, right? You're going to see like the KUs of the world, the Baylors of the Big 12, where they've been there, done that, and they're already looking ahead to a week and a half from it, right?
I don't know. I disagree. I think when you get in the arena, it matters. Here's what I'll say. If Kansas knows they're in a tournament and loses in the quarters, they're not really broken up. I think that is like, all right, guys, you got your loss out of the way. No more now. Here we go. Like, I think that's a different thing. I think it matters way more to the teams on the bubble, and you can kind of see that with their assholes clenched a little bit. Like when they're like you see that at the end of the game, like we have to win, and they're watching the bubble, and the director of basketball operations is down the line, like whispering down, "Hey, Wisconsin's winning in the Big Ten. This isn't good for us." Like, that's how it goes. So
no, it definitely does.
Whacked out. But yeah, I just think like certain programs, if they know they're in the tournament, you can play a little bit looser. And if they all want to hang a banner. They're all competing. But if they lose early, it matters way more to some than it does others.
All right. I feel like on that segue, we should go ahead and maybe get into some picks tonight.
Before we do that, Megan, are we going to get into Rico's text message that he sent us? Because
This was like if you were looking for a topic, but real quick.
What I was gonna do was go through picks real quick, because you have your parlay. Rico and I are on one of the same picks, so obviously that won't take too much time. But I feel like we could get carried away talking about this.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll finish the show with the hot topic. I guess I won't call it a hot topic, but maybe an obscure topic. Like,
maybe obscure. If you happen to see some pictures circulating on the internet today, it makes sense. Did you see the picture
I'm so out of the loop. It's so bad.
I'll explain.
CD Lamb got a tattoo of Kobe on his back.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he had 4 artists working on it at the same time.
Yeah.
Which was
Kelly, insane. I know I'm crazy, but I don't just think of wacko things. I saw this, and that's what
I literally was like, where the fuck did Rico pull this out of? And then there's me with commitment issues going, how many millions of dollars are you going to pay me to do this? We'll get on that at the end of the show, Megan. We'll rattle through the picks. We got lots of people in the comment section.
First off, let's start since we were all saying how we hate Excel, except you, Kelly. So maybe you have a pick for us, but we don't really love the Big Ten. How it's not been the best conference to watch or bet for Rico or I, or myself. Is that proper English? I don't know. You tell me. However, this Penn State at Ohio State game, I wanted to take Ohio State so bad, just laying a small number at home. But this Ohio State team reeks. They suck, and I just cannot. Like I love how Big F took my LSU team yesterday, because they have also just
couldn't do it.
I
was so close, I couldn't do it.
A garbage juice team. But this Ohio State team is garbage juice. I couldn't play this game at all. I don't want anything to do with the Big Ten right now. So Kelly, try to give us a good read.
Megan, I'm going to tell you this too. Listen, I got texts last night. People going, Cal, you're going to be all over Ohio State today, aren't you? You're going to be on Ohio State. I had guys betting them like minus 120 last night, -1. Now it's 2.5. I'm sorry. I'm with you, Megan. We've got a Penn State team that doesn't turn the ball over. You've got the best player in the court in Jalen Pickett. You've got the most experienced team in college basketball. And you've got a team that's dropped 8 straight. Now, normally, my spidey senses would go off and go, Kelly, this is an exact spot to back Ohio State. No, I'm not backing this hot garbage team that is all but quit on Chris Holtmann. Why would I want to do that to myself? You've got Penn State, who is 16-11. We all know they're not getting the big dance. But you know what? They make their free throws. They get the defensive boards. They've got a pretty solid offense. If I end up on the square dog of Penn State and I lose, so be it. There is no way. There are certain teams I'm not touching. Ohio State is on my do not bet list.
So are you playing PSU tonight? Are they in the parlay?
Yep. Took plus 123 with Penn State.
So we're on the money line. We just need Penn State. Oh, no. You got +3, you said?
Nah, +2.5. But
Okay.
I think the money line is the right side here. Again, Sean Sullivan's right. If Penn State gets hot from 3, it's over. But I do think that this Ohio State team, they're just like, please just get us to March. Like we're just ready to be done. You can see it. None of those 8 games that they've lost, they haven't even put up a dog fight. Like, how are you not going to put up a fight at home? That against a Penn State team, I think that they've cashed it in. And I think that's what we're going to continue to see tonight. It looks as one of those trappy games. It looks like Mizzou the other night that I laid 3.5 with against Mississippi State. Goes to overtime. They don't cover, of course.
Of course. Rico, where are you at on this game?
So Kelly brings up a good point. State Penn is an excellent 3-point shooting team. Ohio State does defend the 3. The one thing that jumps out to me here, having no opinion on the game at all, really, is 137 total. I'd probably go under. Both teams play at a slow tempo, and then you talk about Ohio State not putting up a dogfight, right? These are their last games. 55 points scored. Now, it's tough because they're giving up a lot of points. But if both teams are playing at a slow pace and Ohio State puts up some kind of fight and keeps it close and gross, that helps us for the under, which I think Ohio State has to do. But anyway,
put it on a T-shirt. Close and gross.
That's Virginia and Tennessee. If you have futures on them, just get that shirt. Close and gross. That's their motto. Purdue, 55 points scored. Iowa, they scored 75, but that's Iowa's pace. They ran them out of the gym. Michigan State, they scored 41. Northwestern, they scored 63. Michigan, they scored 69. Wisconsin, 60. Indiana, 70. Illinois, 60. This is an Ohio State team that's not scoring the ball at all. And I don't see that revelation coming through. So, and they want to limit.
I like the under.
I'd go with the under. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't hate it there. Let's see. Let's move on.
Also, the Big Ten, if any conference was they say, hey, gun to head, which one are you most confident in a conference having a score at halftime be 22-21? I'm going to say the Big Ten. Without a doubt.
A football score is like we've been seeing so many football scores, especially in the first half of these Big Ten games. Then sometimes they'll find their footing, and everyone's like, there's some guy gets hot from 3, and then the under's just absolutely crushed because some fucking guy decides to come out and drop 35 the second half, and he's had 3 the first half. I wanted to talk to you guys about this game. I almost played it. I'm glad I stayed off of it. But Memphis, Wichita State. It's at Wichita State. It was at 3 last night. It's now at 2 today. I immediately wanted to take Memphis, but then I went and saw that Wichita's kind of been on a little run here. And I just didn't want to get stuck in knowing what, Memphis playing that great game against Houston. I personally, and I think they have some injuries, I personally think that this Memphis team is the better team. They're more athletic by far. But in this spot, I don't know if I could put out 2 here. Like, did I play it personally? Yes. Am I regretting it a little? Yes. I didn't put it out for the people to follow because I know everyone gets their fucking dicks in a knot whenever I lose a game. So, so be it. I also didn't put out Western Illinois this morning, which was an easy win. I hit them +3 and +4 outright winners. So,
that's
bad call by me.
Usually the games you don't tweet, Megan. I mean, last night, I loved Clemson. I let a couple of people that like Syracuse talk me out of it, kicking myself. Can't believe I didn't bet Wisconsin. It's like Murphy's Law. You don't put it out, it's probably going to win.
Yeah. But what do y'all think about this game? Because I ended up staying away, but I feel like a lot of people kind of want to play this game because it's one of the more exciting on the board tonight. Where are you at, Rika? Because I can see your wheels are spinning.
Yeah, what do you have for the line?
It's you got Memphis at 2 right now, and it's
all right. So Wichita State is a brutal place to go play, for sure. Like I when they were rolling, like I like those guys, the big band and all that shit. Like
with Greg,
don't start no shit.
I miss Greg.
Don't start no shit, won't be no shit. Which apparently they stole from VCU. Aria tells me there's a whole beef. These A-10 people are crazy. I don't like Anthony Hardaway. Don't think he's a good coach. Kendrick Davis is obviously a phenomenal player. I think off of the close loss to Houston, even if it's away, they got to rally, and I don't see them losing 2 in a row, which they haven't done in conference, if I'm being honest. Yeah, they haven't done that. They lost 2 out of 3. I would lean Memphis here on the road, which is probably a trap spot because you look at it. Oh, Memphis, all they have to really do is win. Wichita hasn't been good. It's kind of a trappy spot.
Wichita has been good, though. They've been I think they've won or at least covered their last 4 or 5.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
conference
they've covered 4 straight. 4 straight or 5 straight.
This conference is upsetting to me too, because like we have a national contender in Houston in a great story where the Final Four is going to be in Houston, like crazy, basically a home court advantage, and just their conference, we don't know enough about it. Like there's a lot of bad. There's not even. I don't even think there's 3 or 4 teams like in consideration for the tournament. I think
Correct.
Memphis is one of those last 4 in type things, but that's bad. The second best team in your conference is barely in. That's tough to me.
All right, let's move on real quick because Rico and I share this game in common. I managed to get it at -2.5. I think Rico snagged it at the 3, which I still like a lot. I have been so impressed with this North Texas team. The last 5 games are averaging 75 points per game. Well, Charlotte, their last, I believe, 4 are averaging 59.8 points per game, which if you do a little A plus B equals C action there, you should see North Texas should roll. Also, they're way better defensively, and they should get a ton of work off the glass. This North Texas team, again, kind of been a dependable darling, if you will, and they've cashed a lot of tickets for me. I think they can easily get it done over the Charlotte team. I believe they already did earlier in the season, if I recall. But yeah, I'm on this, and I know Rico is too, so Rico can give you a little bit more in depth. Maybe he has the line to the coach. Maybe they have communication.
Not yet. That's football. Kelly's probably shaking her head again with this fucking Charlotte across the board. This is more a North Texas play. Charlotte started the year very hot. Now they're now 16 and like 11. They were on my radar of a team being like, hey, they're playing really well. They were 11-3 right at the end of turn of the calendar, and then kind of put it into the thing. If you watch Charlotte, which I have on ESPN Plus here and there on games that you bet them, like I don't watch them every night, they make a lot of mistakes, and the game is going to be gross. And North Texas enjoys gross. The big thing here to me too, North Texas shoots it well from 3. They defend the 3, and Charlotte's horrific from 3. If North Texas crawling their shorts, make possessions long, I think Charlotte's settling for 3s. I got a team shooting 3s that don't want to shoot 3s, that can't shoot 3s well. It's a recipe for success. I'll take North Texas. The other thing too is North Texas has no like huge wins in these conferences. If it comes down to the last spots, I'd love to see a team like, so we're going to have Florida Atlantic and North Texas basically, or UAB playing in that conference tournament to try to get in. I would love to see one of them get into the bubble.
I would love to see North Texas. I mean, they've been so
North
gritty.
Texas over North Carolina. North Carolina had all their chances. They got no fucking
Fuck North Carolina.
No, I know, but that's the way it's going to go. Like that's the last team in the bubble. So, and again, we need our guy Jelly in there.
I think they're going to be out. I don't think they're going to get in.
Who's UNC?
No, North Carolina.
I don't think they're getting in either. I don't think they are.
It's not great.
I mean, they're right on that fringe. We'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Kelly, what's the second leg of your parlay? Give it to me.
Yeah, so it's Wichita State. I was going to jump in, but you guys were having a really good conversation. Rico stole the words out of my mouth anyway. Penny Hardaway, one of the worst coaches in college basketball. Great recruiter, great for the brand, not a good coach, especially on the road. I'm not going to back him there in a hostile environment. Wichita State has covered 4 of their last 6, Megan. And frankly, no disrespect. Yes, we know that Memphis has the better talent. No problem. That's not up for debate. But they're off that hard-fought loss to Houston. And who do they have on deck? They got Cincinnati. And as you know anything about the American Athletic Conference, those 2 teams hate each other. And so they may get caught looking ahead here. We'll see.
Well, I'm glad that we didn't play Memphis. So I'm glad that, we can get the cheer for you. Let's see what's next. Next one that I have on my list, I decided to hop on Drexel early this morning, -5.5. It's Northeastern at Drexel. This Drexel team, again, has been really good to me. Northeastern's been gaining momentum. They've won a couple here, I think 3 straight possibly. Well, my Dragons have been on a bit of a skid. But again, this Drexel team has been solid. They've been going hard. They've covered ATS. Let me see. They have fantastic defense, 30th in the nation. I mean, I don't again, and the number agrees with me. It moved from 5.5. It's now at 6.5. And I think I've seen it even higher other places. Not that I look other places, but I do. I've been loving this Drexel team. I mean, they're at home. They play well at home. Drexel shouldn't be on your ban list, Slim Reaper. Drexel, maybe you just have a bad read on this team. It's a good team, and they're playing not their best ball right now, but I think this is a spot at home where they can play and get a nice little rebound spot and a feel good spot, like a 15-point win, say. Any thoughts on this game?
That's a Rico question, Megan. You think that I can talk about Northeastern or Drexel? You're out of your mind.
So I went and watched Drexel at Drexel against Charleston. Charleston had them dead in the water, and Drexel, I know it's the most cliche thing in the world. They didn't quit. They don't quit.
They don't quit.
They don't quit. And it's not great, like ugly offense. They don't have a lot of – they were 0 for 15 to start the game from 3 and then hit 1 to cut it from 5 to 3 or 4 to 2, whatever it was, and then got a stop when they needed it, tie or went ahead, whatever it was. And, they really don't quit. If your game's going to be at home, I lean Drexel to put that fight in.
I have one more, and it just kind of goes on that same thing. A team that really doesn't quit. It is kind of a hold your nose number play. I like Towson at Charleston. I just feel like they've played a lot of the similar games tight. Just thinking that the number is just a little too big. This could be one of those like way too big for my britches, like go to bed with your feelings hurt type of game. But I like the +9 there. Kelly, I need to know the third leg of your parlay, though.
Utah. Now, this one's going to be a little tougher. Utah +7.
I think Rico likes Utah, too.
I like Utah a lot, and I don't think Utah's anywhere near the bubble either. It's crazy.
And they're not. And that's the thing. And that's why I think this is not their Super Bowl, if you will, right? But this would be a very big marquee win and give them something to capitalize on for next year. Plus, they have the biggest guy in the court. Brandon Carlson is just a beast down low. I think what he's going to do here is kind of take UCLA off their rhythm. Rico, you watch the Pac-12 a ton. You know how hard it is to win on Thursday on the road and then win on Saturday on the road. UCLA has done it all season long, and I'm going, how? This is not something that most teams can do. I know, stepping in front of a freight train like Mick Cronin's team, right? But there's something scrappy that happens in Salt Lake City. That arena gets rocking, and even though this team is not going to make, the big tournament, they'll probably be in the NIT or CBI, depending on what ended up happening in the Pac-12 tournament. UCLA has a bullseye on their back, bottom line, Megan. And you know what? They don't make their free throws. I love Utah +7. I do think they're worth a sprinkle on the money line. I think they could shock a lot of people tonight and really just be able to spring the upset at home.
I looked at Utah extremely hard, especially catching all those points. That was one where I was teetering on, and I said, you know what? Your daughter's birthday was yesterday. You're in the mountains. Let's just go with 3 plays instead of 33 plays like I normally do. So, I'm just cutting back a little bit. Rico, we got any other plays for tonight? We got any other specialties?
I'll go with this quickly. St. Mary's Pacific under 137. I think Pacific wants to run, but St. Mary's is the better team. They'll slow it down on defense. And I think they make it gross. It's very – make your free throws is a great hoodie. Put some money in my pocket. Buy the sweatshirt. I'm going to go with that on the under. Real quick on the Pac-12, right? So I think we should start at this time of the year doing the magnifying glass. Ready, Kelly? UCLA's resume, okay? Non-conference back in November. Lost to Illinois, lost to Baylor. Best wins in the non-conference. Maryland, Kentucky,
yeah.
And now we're in a Pac-12 conference that, again, probably has 2 teams in the tournament. I don't know. I like Mick Cronin, but I think you start to put put a little bit of a magnifying glass on these teams. Just because UCLA has a 5 against them, I don't know. I think somebody could come in and really shock them. It's a weird thing.
I hope it's tonight, +255. But I would agree with you, right? So the last game of the season's against Arizona. They're going to be looking for revenge. I might be on UCLA in that spot. I think they just scream early exit of March for me. I have not been that impressed with them. And again, if you're not a team that makes their free throws, if you're not a team that plays really solid defense, which UCLA does, one of the best defenses in the country, but is that skewed because of the quality or lack thereof of opponents they faced?
I would tend to lean the quality and lack of opponents they have faced. Really quickly to because we have ran a little bit long today. Conversation's been good, but let's touch on this game really quick, and then we'll do a lightning round of what we wanted to talk about with Rico. It looks like Caleb McConnell is out for Rutgers, which would indicate why the line went from 6 to 5.5. But Obviously, that's not a huge line move, in my opinion. If you're a Rutgers fan, if you like to play Rutgers, especially at home. Personally, I feel like Michigan just has to start getting something together at some point. And I feel like, again, I know these Big Ten road games are hard to win, but I would lean towards Michigan with the points, even though it's disgusting. I know how crazy the rack gets, and I actually love to back Rutgers. But this is just too many points for me to lay personally. I wanted nothing to do with it. As I've told you, haven't had the best of luck in the Big Ten, so I'm trying these smaller conferences to see if they won't treat me a little nicer.
Yeah, I'm with you, Megan. I tried to make a case for Michigan early this morning. I looked at them and said, I don't want to bet against Rutgers at the rack. I mentioned that most, there's a couple caveats there in Ohio State and a couple other little schools that are not that great, Minnesota. Certain teams that I'm not looking to bet against at home, and Rutgers is just one of those teams. They just are significantly better at home. They had that wonky home loss to Nebraska last week that just was like, what happened there? And I don't think that they're going to allow that to happen tonight with Michigan. They may cover, Michigan, that is, just because of being able to get Hunter Dickinson in there to bully people around and Caleb McConnell being out. He's probably worth a point. Line moved half a point. Pass.
What about you, Rico? Any special thoughts?
The key with McConnell out, it's really can Michigan get Buffkin going as a guard, because that probably would have been the matchup. I think that might leave them. Maybe they were putting him in a double situation. I've seen Jett Howard explode on Iowa, so maybe he gets going. But Omari for Rutgers is a beast too, Kelly. Those two are gonna take. Can we get a line, Westy, on 7.5 or 8.5 fouls between the two of them? I'll take
Absolutely not. Westy will give you nothing that you want, and you'll like it.
I'll take that.
I don't think he's replied to a text message I've sent in the last 6 months. So I'm glad he's doing really well.
Yeah, I
all right, really quick. Rico texted us before the show and said, hypothetical, if there was a athlete that you deemed deemed worthy enough to get tattooed on your body, what athlete would it be? And I thought about this because I have a lot of
fandom out. Take fandom out. My question
is
everyone will get Knicks fans have Jeremy Lin tattooed all over their body.
This is
not talking about that.
Completely unbiased. I know both of you will love this one because this guy doesn't exactly just paddle the same canoe. But I just think
this is definitely fandom related.
No, it's not. It's not fandom at all. I was a very small child whenever this guy was playing basketball. I barely remember him. But I think a Dennis Rodman tattoo would be the sickest fucking tattoo in the entire world. Just like I don't know what era, what hair I would do. I think it would.
You got to do like the green hair at least. If it's going to be a color tattoo, he has to have green hair.
I was going to go with Birdman for a second, but I felt like a white dude on a white girl just wouldn't look good. Chris Anderson.
I think Birdman I think he got acquitted, but he was problematic. So real quick, these are my requirements. They got to be cool. They can't be. I think they should be dead because this goes into the other thing. You can't get canceled. You don't want a guy who could get canceled on there. They got to be really good, and they got to be cool. The two to me, and I wouldn't even do the athlete's face. I would do their logos. Jordan and Griffey, that swing man, everybody thought that was
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You see a tattoo on a guy's leg, and you're like, oh, that's the answer. That to me. So
that's so funny. I have entirely too many commitment issues to even partake in this conversation. I've never even thought about getting a tattoo. I have extreme reservations about anything permanent in my life.
Here, let's put this out there, Kelly, though. Kleiman wins again at a 10 or more value. Me and you both go get tattooed together.
You're insane. I wouldn't even get a Bill Snyder tattoo. I love the comment section. I love John Elway. He is the reason why I love football. You think I would get John Elway tattooed on my body? Maybe, just maybe, I would consider at some point in my life getting a Wildcat, like the Power Cat logo. Maybe. I can't even begin to fathom.
Did you used to do
this guy's such a douchebag. He's watching our show just so that he can come and say this. I'm glad that you're tuning in, giving us some views, buddy.
Kelly, did you used to do the tanning of the Wildcat thing, like on your stomach?
So we didn't have the Wildcat sticker. I was always the girl that liked the sun. personally.
Okay.
Because
I
if
always
Playboy
used
Bunny
the
was too
Playboy Bunny.
slutty,
You always knew
of course.
me.
See?
Megan is
I
a
knew it.
Playboy bunny. That makes sense. That checks
Yeah,
out.
Or the
I would take
cherries,
the
or the
sun, and
cherries.
then I would take the middle part out, and it would just be a sun. I did do that. I also wore all of the K-State tattoos when I was a kid, all over my face. You know, now that people do like the black tattoos, but now it's like that kind of stuff. And I would get the tan line from the game, like on my face. So I would have like a Power Cat tan, kind of for like a couple of days, so it like sloughs off. But that definitely
It's
did
like
happen.
raccoon eyes, but for football fans.
My girlfriend, I actually got stuck working when K-State won in Allen Fieldhouse when I was in college. They won 52-51. She got 52-51 tattooed on her ass after the game. Came to the bar, dropped trout, and was like, "You missed such a good game!" And like all the players are in there.
I would
buying
love
drinks.
that. That's my type of girl.
I cannot believe. To this day, I'm like, you're a mother now. You have like, how are you going to explain? Like, I was drunk in college. I tattooed 52-51 on my ass.
Yeah, well, then the next question, though, is what game? What she should have done is put the date on there as well so she doesn't forget. That's my only advice.
Only advice.
I can tell you, I'm pretty sure it was in 2006 because I remember where I work and where I was, I think. Might have been 2005. Either way,
let's end on this comment just so that we know that it's
we love Jake.
A great show. Thanks y'all for coming on. I have my place posted. Kelly's got a parlay tonight, so make sure you go check out the exclusives tab. Rico and I are both on North Texas. If you like it, it's still at 3. Come ride with us. No pun intended. Haven't heard that one for a while. Where's the riders at? Let's bring them
where
back
are
out.
the riders at?
Coming back.
Let's get them back slowly but surely. Thanks for coming on. Kelly, my cursor's already on the end broadcast, so I'll do that now.